Hey class, Miss Wright here. How are you today? I'm going to read a nonfiction story about a very courageous man, very brave, showed a lot of courage. Our president, Barack Obama. He was president for 8 years. And there was a beautiful kid's story wrote about him called BarakOBama, Son of Promise, Child of Hope by Vicki Grimes. So get your listening ears on and let's take a peek. One day, Hope stopped for a visit. It was early evening, and a boy named David sat on a tenement floor, glued to the TV. "Who's that?" the boy asked his mother, pointing to the screen. His mother looked up from a frayed sofa and set her newspaper aside. "That's Barack Obama," she said. "Bracco what?" "Barack Obama," she repeated with a smile. "I know it's a mouthful. Anyway, he's someone very special." "Why?" "Well, for one thing, how come these people are shouting his name? Because Are they all his friends?" "They must be his friends." "What's his name again?" "Boy, you're about to wear me out." "Sorry," David whispered. The mother patted a spot on the sofa beside her. "Come," she said, "if you sit still, I'll tell you the story." Well, here's how the story goes. They used to call him Barry. His family stretched from Kansas to Kenya. His mama, white as whipped cream. His daddy, black as ink. His mama's folks, Gramps and Toot, were part of his first family that he ever knew. Love was the bridge that held them all together. There's that word love. Choosing love. In Hawaii, breathing in the scent of ginger blossoms, Barry grew up swimming, surfing, spearfishing, next to playmates from places like Portugal, China, India, and Japan. Never once did he ask if all those people could get along. They just did. "Like the kids in my class," said David. "You're right," said his mother. Honolulu looked like heaven, but even through the blue of the sea was sharp enough to slice the sun, and the sun warmed the sand between his toes, and the sand sparkled like diamonds. Nothing could fill the hole in Barry's heart. Once his daddy went away, his mom and Gramps and Toot told him brave and funny tales of his father's past to soothe his hurt and make him laugh. But that didn't stop Barry from feeling sad sometimes, especially when he heard the word divorce. Barry's mom married a man named Lolo, and oh, the wonderful, he took Barry to Indonesia, a land of pet gibbons and pet crocodiles. Barry laughed himself silly, sliding in the rainy season mud. He caught crickets, flew kites, and joyed in the jungle at the edge of the new home. A perfect paradise, until the sight of beggars broke his heart. Barry started to wonder, will I ever be able to help these people? Hope hummed deep inside of him. "Someday, son, someday." "There's lots of poor people, huh, Mama?" "Yes, honey, I'm afraid so," Mama said. "David, we've got to help them." Before dawn each morning, Barry rose his mother's voice driving him from the dreamland. "Time for learning English grammar and the golden rule. Be honest, be kind, and always be fair," she taught him. "Your father is smart and strong and full of courage, and you will be just like him." "How can I?" thought Barry. "I don't even remember his voice." Was this tall and skinny Harvard man for the one who lived in all those stories? For a time, all Barry could do was stare. As the days passed, they would share talks and walks, and then his dad was gone again. A ghost once more. "Hold tight," said Hope. "This strand of memory is stronger than you will know." The sun and moon paraded past Pally's Peak more times than Barry's quick mind could count. Soon he pounded across the high school gym, slamming the basketball that his father had sent him one Christmas. A few letters flew back and forth from mother to father, from father to son. Barry was the bridge that connected them. Sadly, some days he felt if that bridge were sinking. "Who am I?" asked Barry. "I don't look like my mother. I don't like my father. I only like me." Barry was dizzy with questions. "You're not your father," a friend told him. "You are not your mother. You must choose your own way." Choose what? Thought Barry. Choose how? He searched for courage inside him. Hope was waiting there. Barry's mind spun like a top. How could he know which way to go? "Listen," said Hope, and he did. There it was, the answer repeating like a chorus in his ear. "Education is the key," said Gramps. "Education is the secret," said Toot. "Education is your way," said Mom. "Education is the path," said his father. "Remember, it's in the blood." Barry rolled up his sleeves and studied in the shallow of Pally Peaks, in the shadow of the Hollywood sign, in the shadow of Langston's Harlem. Still, he couldn't stop asking, "Who am I?" Some called him an ugly name, too terrible to repeat, but he refused to answer that. Instead, one morning, he slipped on the name he'd been born with, the name of his father, Barak. For the first time in his life, he wore it proudly, like a coat of many colors. The work was grueling, with stretches of failure and punny patches of success. Door to door, Barak went, early mornings, late nights, pleading and preaching, coaxing strangers to march together, to make life better for everyone. He worked as hard as a farmer, planting the words, "Yes, we can," like seeds in spring. Impatient, Barak kept wondering if those seeds would ever sprout. He worried that the hope in him could fade away. One Sunday when Barak was sitting in church, Barak heard God say, "Slow down. Look around you. Now look to me. There is hope here to last a lifetime." Barak smiled, tears rolling down his face. Suddenly he knew for certain hope would last enough for him to make a difference. Before Barak chased his future, he visited his past, traveling to Kenya to find his family, his father's bones, and his own place in the circle of Africa. He sat with Amu and Zutini, Jane and Sarah, Yusuf and Syed. He swapped stories with Roy and Bernard, Mark and George, and all the relatives who had prayed for such a day. Finally, Barak knelt in the soil at his father's grave, listening to the still small voice that spoke in his heart. "Go none. Go now. Fly free. Become the man that you were meant to be. Live in hope. Keep the past in memory, but shape your own tomorrow. Have courage." One star kiss, night 4 years later, and his wife Michelle stood by. Barak smiled on a sea of faces from Wichita to Waikiki. He saw whites and blacks and rich and poor and Christian and Muslims and Jews. He felt the presence of Gramps and Toot. He saw the ghosts of his parents, of Martin Luther King Jr. and JFK. And on that special day, Barak was the bridge that helped them all together. "Thank you for electing me President of the United States," he said. "Can we make America better? Can we work together as one?" With a single voice, the crowd called out, "Yes, we can." The end. What a great story about courage. And I hope you all listened and you will go out and find your way and have courage. You can do anything that you put your heart and desire to. We'll see you real soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Work hard.